Hi, I'm Mark Eberwine. I'm a candidate for the U.S. House District 35, which encompasses the Texas counties of Guadalupe, Karnes, and Wilson County in the eastern half of Bexar County. I plan to change Washington, and I need your help, and I am so glad that you've tuned in for my podcasts. I'm going to give you the path forward for taking back control of our country from the large corporations and the teachers' unions and the politicians that have forgotten us. I want to start out with something that's really simple, and I believe it to be the tool where we can find out who's lying and who's telling the truth. I call it the pre-vote candidate oath, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and then I invite you to watch the multitude of videos that I've done that give you my position on different issues. So going back to the pre-vote candidate oath, and here's an example of one, and I'm going to read some of this to you. On this date, for example, January 8th, 2025, I, Mark Allen Eberwine, candidate for the U.S. House, do hereby solemnly swear to secure your vote for the office that I seek. Now, this candidate oath, we give this to all of the candidates, and we find out who it is that loves their country and who it is that wants to enrich themselves. For example, one of the pieces of legislation will be I will introduce legislation to remove the statute of limitations for anyone involved in the transgendering of minors to include chemical, surgical, or psychological means. This means the browbeating that goes on in our nation's schools. The statute of limitations shall be removed specifically for parents, teachers, counselors, surgeons, medical doctors, psychologists, hospitals, and insurance companies, so that when that child grows up and he figures out what you've done to them, they can come after your assets in perpetuity. That's one example. With these candidate oath, these pre-votes, what do we do here? We have these candidates, the system currently has a candidate, and he says, I'll do this and I'll do that. And they get into office and they do nothing of the sort. They've lied to you, or they're weak. So I've come up with a candidate oath. It's the pre-vote candidate oath, and it will get these people under oath prior to them ever sniffing that office. Another example, if you elect me as your congressman, I will introduce legislation to ban congressional stock trading. I will introduce legislation to set congressional term limits. I will not seek more than 3 terms in the House of Representatives. Folks, we've got to have the brighter minds coming to Washington and serving the good people of our nation and, of course, our districts. Thank you, and please watch the rest of these videos. We need to take these people out, these bad actors. We need to make sure that these people don't sniff that office again.